So welcome everyone and thank you for being here. Like an impromptu happy Women's Day for all the women and all the men, for all the feminine energies on the planet, whether you've shown up in a man's body or a woman's body. Congratulations. How does it get any better? So today's conversation, we thought we'd actually have this three question fun conversation. And I read some really interesting questions in the chat that Sam had put out to ask what would be the question in your world and what are the three top questions, Sam? Which is the first one?
Give me one moment.
Yes.
So, first one is something that I had asked about if you can speak to the energy of patience in the business of life. Um, Second, how's because I sense that there's so much more than even waiting in patience, and it'd be fun if you could speak a little to that. The second is what Sanskriti has asked about energy of going beyond failures, and she also has an energy of going beyond a plateau. Yeah, no worries,
No
Sanskriti. Thank you
worries.
so much for sharing it before. And Jyoti has asked about business of life. How can one be master in this? Kindly talk about that one catalyst that can trigger the whole process with total ease.
Lovely. We have three questions. Awesome. Let's take the first one. Hey, Sam's. Which one was that again, please?
The
About
energy of
patience.
patience.
Yeah. Yeah. So is everyone happy with these three questions? Everybody? Or is there something? Yeah? Okay, Nishita says yes. So we'll go with Nishita's yes. Yay. Sugandha also says yes. Yay. All right. So the first one is the energy of patience. That's really a beautiful question. And thank you for asking that because oftentimes patience is so, okay, patience is a virtue that we've all come to this planet with. A patience of the patience of knowing that something will show up if you're asking for it, which kind of is an energy of trust because patience can only be if there's trust. But if you
Good
have
point. Thank
patience,
you.
yeah, you're welcome, darling. But if there's patience from a space of it's not happening now, it'll happen tomorrow, it'll not happening now, it'll happen tomorrow, and there's a conclusion, and there's not an ask, there's not a question of what's required, am I congruent with it, can I add something to this? If there are no questions being asked, but you're just being quote unquote patient in your world, that's where you want to ask if you have misidentified and misapplied waiting as patience. Waiting is no creation. Waiting is a hi. Waiting is a space of no creation. Waiting is a space of putting off choice. Patience is like nature. The nature doesn't try to force open a bud. It knows if it forces open that bud, the bud will break. It will be destroyed. That comes with trust, knowing that I'm going to give it whatever it requires. So with your business, if you're being patient, are you being patient from a space of asking your business what it requires and for it to bloom, for it to grow, for it to reach out? Or are you asking, to be patient with your business from a space of a conclusion or a decision of what it needs? Because that space has no trust. That is all about control. That's all about judging yourself. It's all about doing. There is no being in it. There is no relaxation in it. There is no trust in it. So what level, what and for a humanoid, patience is the toughest thing to have. Toughest. Because it knows that, okay, if I'm doing this, I know this is possible. Time is just a construct. Hey, Richa. It's like time is just a construct, it's not real. I know I can just create. That's the space of a humanoid. I don't need to be controlled by time. But you see, this is where you as a humanoid want to get that time may not be real, but timing is. And you're acknowledging that is you're embracing the energy of patience from a space of relaxation. So I hope that gave you clarity, honey, and gave everyone else clarity with that.
I just thought I'll add some. Is there a possibility we could be making the, because for a humanoid it's always
Yeah.
right now. Is there
Now,
some way
now,
to
now,
make,
now, now.
yeah, are we making right now the right way? And the right wrong of, if I'm not having it right now, then it's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, how many people, thanks for that, because how many people actually give up trust simply because it didn't show up right now? What if that's where we look at the timing, right? The timing is always right. The time is not right. If you're asking for it should show up now according to the day, according to by tomorrow or by the end of this month, and if it doesn't show up, the tools didn't work. If it doesn't show up, it's I'm a failure. Now you put a condition on the creation. You can't have conditions on creations. You got to trust the universe. And that now could be any moment simply because universe doesn't get time. It will bring to you the best. It will bring to you the best in the moment that is. Something that Dane, had talked about. He said, I had asked for certain things 20 years ago, and I kept asking and I kept knowing that it's going to show up. But it's taken it 20 years for it to actualize. Did he stop asking? Did he stop trusting the tools? No. He kept asking because he knew, and he also knew that there was a lot of energy that was required, energy of an ask, energy of being the algorithmic interrupt, energy of what else is possible for his ask to show up. So how many of you have given up on your ask simply because it didn't show up in the timeline that you decided? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, on nine shots, boys and beyonds. Are you willing to trust? Trust, trust, ask and receive. Trust the universal truth of ask and receive. All right. Yes, I'll go to Neera and then we will go to the second question. Yes, Neera.
Hi,
Hi.
Chandana.
Hi.
So, Chandana, you've answered my question because when you said about time is not real and timing is real, and I wanted to ask you to elaborate on it, you already did after
Awesome.
September. So,
How
thank you
does
so
it get? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking the question in your head. I
much.
got it.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. How aware are you?
And how smart are you that you put it into my head?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And you make yourself here. I want to say, Chandana, for me, I make myself so much wrong, for this that abhi itna kuch liya, I have license for it, but I'm not bringing it forward. I keep on making myself wrong for that. But this thing, that the time is not real. I know, I trust it will be there. I will be I will be doing classes, but abhi nahi hai, so I probably have to ask more questions.
So, what would you like to ask? What am I not willing to be that if I would be it, would actualize my ask?
Okay.
What have you decided you have to be that you don't have to be? I mean, so often we've decided I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and then my business will actualize or my classes will actualize. But what if that
Yes.
is the biggest limitation? So go into question, or what am I not willing to be that if I would be it, would have my
Yeah.
classes actualize with total ease and joy and glory. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
You're
That was easy.
welcome.
That got
That was
exciting.
easy, easy peasy.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Sam. I see your hand up. Where's Sam? Okay. Yeah.
So the second question is from Sanskriti. How do we go beyond the energy of failure?
Failure. Oh, that's a lovely question. How do we go beyond failure? I don't want to be a failure, but I want to go beyond being me because I've decided I am a failure. Everything that is. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, online, shorts, boys and beyond. So what have you judged and decided and concluded is a failure that isn't? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. Failure is one of the biggest, the most common tools that we run towards to keep ourselves limited. The fear of failure, the conclusion of failure, the justification of failure, the excuses of failure. It's like we have a thesis on failure, so many stories to justify that energy. But what if the only truth with failure is that it's a judgment? So, what have you judged as failure that it isn't? And what have you decided you are that you're not? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, online, shots, boys and beyonds. The biggest, you being you is a success that you be. And you trying to be somebody else, or trying to compare yourself to somebody else, or trying to fit into somebody's box, you've already set yourself up for failure. Yay, red heart. Awesome, thank you. Aren't success and failure both judgments? Absolutely, they're both judgments, darling. And they're both judgments from a space of what have you defined as success that it isn't, and what have you defined failure that it isn't? What have you judged success as that keeps you choosing failure? And what have you judged failure as that doesn't allow you to be the success? Because when you are choosing something from a space of a judgment of no failure, I can't fail, so I must succeed. Now you will choose to not, you will choose to succeed according to a point of view, which is anyway a failure. You get that? So, what is success for you? What is success beyond this reality? Is you showing up as you? Is you having one person in class and that one person changing the world, the planet? Like Shannon, she had one person in class for her first bar, for one of her bar's classes, one person. And he said, "Will you please facilitate me?" And she said, "You're the only participant." And he said, "Please." And he turned out to be Dane here. Now, is that a success or is that a failure? It's just a point of view, friends. It's just a point of view. It's what you create with it and beyond it. So, what can I be that I'm not willing to be, that if I would be it, would have me being the success beyond this reality? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, online shots, boys and beyonds. Yes, Malvika.
I have a question here, ma'am, related to
Yes.
this single person classes,
And
right?
first and foremost, let's give a clap to Malvika. She's become a CF.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes,
And
darling.
she's become a CF
Yay,
too.
Greta! Congratulations, sweetie pie. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome, Sanskriti. Yes, darling.
I was reading the CF material last night, and there is this one thing where Gary says that never create small classes, right? Create large classes, because if you are going with the point of view of creating smaller classes, then what shows up in larger classes is a bigger contribution to you and to them,
Yeah.
right? So then going with the viewpoint of that's what came up immediately to me. So can you talk more about this?
Absolutely. So, what have you defined as a large class, honey?
I've not given it a number to define it.
Okay.
But I think if I go with the current energy that's showing up, anything about 10 would be a large class for me to begin with.
Yeah, that's where have you defined number of people as large?
Oh yeah. See, that changes. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for
What?
that.
You're welcome. And honey, what if the change that you can create on this planet
Yeah, so
is
probably
so
what
much
Simone did
greater?
with Dane. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yes, not at all. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what
So
Shannon
what,
did with Dane. Yeah,
what
yeah,
she did with Dane was, I think, a zillions of energies showing up, not just one person. Yeah, now I get it.
where have you
So
decided and
beautiful.
concluded that people is what makes your class large,
Wow.
not the energy?
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Can I button and say something here?
Yes, yes, please.
Malvika, really, Chandana and Isha are the epitome of, uh, access consciousness tools that mostly, initially, I mean, when I knew them, a long time back, they used to have one person in a class. And they were
Yeah,
so cool about it.
yeah.
And I got inspired by that because I was always looking for numbers, and that's what brought them
Amazing.
where they are right now, because they were okay with any number.
Yes.
So
Wow.
the
Yes, and
large
I would even travel if there was just one person. I remember Kanika's here, and she hosted one of my first foundations in Hyderabad, and she said, "Channa, it's your choice if you want to come because we have one participant." And I said,
Wow.
"I'm coming because it's just so expansive." Because you see, if I was to choose, I'm going. It's a conclusion. But when we talked, the energy was so expansive. I said, I'm coming. I don't know what this is going to create, but I'm coming. So I went. We had one person in class, one mother, one daughter in class. And so if you see the money or you see that, it was one person because the child was free. But okay, there were two bodies. But it was way more what it opened up for me, for Hyderabad, for Kanika, for them, for the planet. I mean, even today, I give that example because that's truly when you are willing to choose something from a space of not the number of people, but a question.
Wow. I was so much in wrongness of myself for fewer people showing up in my classes.
How many more
So
can show up if you start to have,
yeah, I
if you
think that's
start to
cleared a lot
be,
for me.
yeah, and if you can start to be the embodiment of gratitude for each person who chooses you,
Thank you for that. Thank you
and
for
for
that.
each person that you choose, and for each person that the universe brings to you.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this. This has really
You're
immediately
welcome.
shifted me
You're
to a
welcome.
new space.
Awesome. How does it get any
Thank
better?
thank you.
Great. What's the third question, love?
We're going to go for the
Oh, wait,
last
we have
question.
Sugandha. We have Sugandha.
Okay,
We have
awesome.
Sugandha.
Oh, I'm waiting for the beautiful Hindi.
Hi ma'am,
Yes,
thank
me
you.
too. Yes, yes, yes.
मैम सबसे पहले तो आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक यू मैंने आपके साथ
Oh,
एक्सेस मनी बिजनेस क्लास करी थी दिसंबर में और मेरी मेरी फाइनेंशियल रियलिटी तो चेंज हुई हुई मेरी पूरी मनी रियलिटी चेंज हो गई है विद दैट क्लास ओनली
I'm going to translate.
और द क्वेश्चंस जो आपने
No, first let
अभी
me translate what you said. It's a validation of me.
ये बुक मेरी रोज जिंदगी बदलती है
Oh, sweetie
और
pie.
मुझे पता है बिजनेस रन डिफरेंट भी बहुत कुछ क्रिएट करने वाला है बट स्टिल देयर इज अ फियर कि अगर मैं चूज करूंगी तो मेरी जिंदगी बिल्कुल बदल जाएगी तो उससे कैसे
Wow, I love
बाहर
that.
आऊं
I love that. So Ganda says that I did and this is just for you, Evelyn. So Sugandha says that she did
Access
the
money in
one day,
business.
yes, thank you, access money and business one day class. And she said so much changed for her in her world with money and with, she went on to become a boss facilitator also, which she forgot to mention because she doesn't want anyone to know that. She's still hiding. But I will expose her. And and she went on and she says, I'm scared to choose BDD 3-day because I don't know how much more change will show up. Are you scared
Just
or
do
are
it.
you excited?
और मैम उसमें एक क्वेश्चन भी था जो मैं शेयर करना चाहती हूँ जो कि पर्सनली मेरे को बहुत टच किया था कैन आई
Yes, please go for it.
What if your world was never about budging ever? What if it was about request of the universe and demand of you?
Yes. Yes, that.
तो
What
थोड़ा
if
सा
it was
can you
a
explain
request? Yeah.
what if it was about request of the universe and demand of you?
What do we generally do? We demand that the universe do this, do this. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? We demand people around us. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? So who are we making the source of our creation? Everybody else. But when you be the demand of yourself, you're like, I'm choosing this now. This changes now. Whatever it takes, whatever's required, universe, could you please support me? That's a request of the universe, and it's a demand of yourself. Yeah, Sanskriti. When you be that energy, there's no fight in your world. It's a commitment to your choice of being who you be. And then leaving it to the universe for however it shows up.
Yeah.
Yes, and choosing the three-day business done different masterclass. I'm going to ask Malvika to share. Malvika, what did it do for you, honey? For you and Grihita?
So for us, we became bars facilitators in September and we've become CFs in February. So to put it in short.
Guys, don't choose.
To put it in short, yeah. So that's what it's amazingly changed for us.
Thank you.
And the drama of what my reality was, I mean, today it's exactly 10 months and I've started finding my happiness. That is a big change because especially after the body class and the bars facilitator went almost hand in hand, I had forgotten to smile. And Access makes me smile today. So thanks to everybody who's contributed. And goes without saying, my first facilitator was Isha. So the contribution to her and the thanks to her for the bars and the foundation, I wouldn't go without gratitude to her here today.
Thank you.
Because she's brought Access into my life. And before even Isha, I think it would be Sunita Sabharwal because she introduced me to Access.
Yes.
Thanks to her. Yeah.
And more magic, more magic, more magic.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Sugandha, I see your hand up, honey. No? Okay. Yeah. Third question, darling.
I'm going to share it in the chat.
Okay. Business of life. How can one be master in this? Can you talk about that one catalyst that can trigger the whole process with total ease? Is this a light question or a heavy question? Little heavy.
I got
You know why?
very heavy.
Very heavy. You know why? You know the reason?
Why?
Because you're looking for the perfect answer. You're looking for the right solution. When your questions come, and this is not about making you wrong, sweetheart, it's just about getting you to recognize the energy. When you come from a space of a question, looking for an answer, it's a heavy question. Because now you have to go to your head. But when you ask a question as an open-ended question, like, for instance, if I would look at this question and if, we could ask, yeah, it's heavy. Hi, Mom.
Hi, darling.
So if we could ask, how can, instead of asking, how can one be a master in this? The business of life, what is that? What if you could ask that question? What is being? What is being in the business of life? What is the being in the business of my life and living? What does it look like? What could it look like? Being the question, an open-ended question, guys. If you're trying to master it, you're trying to control it. You're trying to be the controlling factor of your business. And whatever you try to control, whether it's your business, whether it's your life, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your body, whether it's your money flows, you will limit it.
So can I ask something here?
Yes, please.
So the word business of life itself gets really heavy for me.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
So living in the 10-second increments is lighter for me.
Yes.
So I'm not even thinking about the business of life. Currently, I'm just choosing to be in the moment. So isn't that wonderful?
That is brilliant. And your business of life is heavy simply because life is a conclusion. Life has to be followed by death. It's a completion. Anything that's a completion is heavy. But if you're
That's
going to
why
look,
the heaviness, because 10 seconds is really good with me.
yes, and that becomes your living. You're
Wow.
living when you're constantly choosing.
Thank
But
you.
if you're not choosing and if you're not in the question, and that you put it so brilliantly because you got the energy of life and living. Living is a constant forward movement unless you make it into a distractor implant. But living is a constant forward movement, constant forward motion that comes from constant asking questions.
Right.
So the
Thank you.
second part, you're welcome, darling. The second part of Jyoti's question is, can you talk about one catalyst that can trigger the whole process with total ease? What if there was no one? What if it's changing every 10 seconds, darling? What can I add to my life today? What can I add to my life and my business today that can have us creating way greater? What if it's constant adding to your life? People think I have to add money, I have to add people, I have to add things, I have to add classes. No. What can I add to my life today is an energy. You asking that question invites that energy into your life, into your business, into your world. That's where you be business and you don't do business. So be in the question, honey, and recognize you're never going to get it right. And if you're hoping to get it right, you will make it wrong. I don't judge my business as right. I just judge it as a change. I don't even judge it. In fact, I look at it and I be like, what are you going to be like today? I wonder what's going to show up today. Be a wonderment with my business. All right. Okay, we have two questions. Sanskriti. Yes, darling. Hi. Thank you for your question, Sanskriti.
Hi, thank you so much for answering it. I mean, it really opened up a lot of space.
Amazing. So happy to know.
Yeah. So could I ask one more question?
Yes, please.
So I have this energy coming up in my space always. Like when I make a particular amount of money this month, I go into the crunch of, oh my God, what if I'm not able to make it the next month? And that kind of, stops me from creating more. And I stop myself there for some time. Then again, I'm like, okay, let's start with a new energy again and using the tools, being in the question. And again, I start. But that thing that keeps, popping up every now and then.
Yeah. So do you trust that you will never have lack of money? Or do you fear that you will have lack of money?
No, it's actually not about money because one big definition that I have about money is power. Until I don't earn money, I'm not powerful. So that's actually, it's never been that I've not had money in my space. It was always there and I've been blessed with money always. It's just that, it's like till I'm not doing it myself, earning it myself physically. And that is equals to power for me. And that kind
So
of,
do you trust?
crunches me.
Okay. So do you trust you being the creator of your life?
Yes.
Or do you
Now
doubt it?
I do. Now I do.
Yeah.
Previously it was not.
Awesome. So if you trust it, then you know that then you know that everything's possible because it's just a choice.
Yeah.
But if you doubt it, is where the fear of the future comes in. The fear of, will I be able to? Will this happen? So one question I always go into, and I would highly, invite all of you to play with that, is every time you create something, whether it's a bars class, whether it's a foundation, whether it's whether you attend a class, whether you listen to a call or whatever, you read a book, whatever, you go for a party, whatever you're doing, yeah, in your life, that's adding to your life. Ask, what next? What next? So when you ask that question, you don't go into a conclusion of what you've created, but you keep the forward movement going. Right?
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay, we've taken four questions.
Yeah, I think we went more than 4.
Yeah,
but
more than 4, true.
What? Thank you so much for that. It's a brilliant way to start our afternoon.
Truly.
It's been a blessing. I mean, every intro has changed so much of space for me. At least in my end, I have gotten, like Carrie says, you get it when you gets it when you gets it. Of how
Damn, Gary, why can't we get it when we want to get it? Now.
I know right now is so much of inclusion that is truly available for us, so much of communion that is already existing for us to just pick it up and choose and allow that energy to be part of our life. And that is pretty much what I take with every BDD that I get to attend with different facilitators. And this time I've gotten to attend many with Chandana, and it's truly business from this reality is surely most definitely a huge part of what we are going to play with business done different. However, it is going to have so much more of energies that is going to add to you, that is going to contribute to our bodies, that is going to definitely contribute to the business as we call it from this reality. And I'm going to sign off and invite each of you to the next Business Done Different that we have starting this 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's a 3-day masterclass facilitated by Chandana. It is truly an energy that you can ask, check if that's fun for you to hop on with us. And I'm here for a one-to-one conversation for you. I'm here to facilitate the space of choice. That's it. Fuck money, fuck time, because it's truly going to boil down to that space. It's fine if you do not choose this particular class, but if this energy is really pinging you and speaking to you, run with it. Take that leap with it, jump off the cliff with it, and we'll see what we can create with that. So please ping me for a conversation. Do not feel pressurized to choose. It's not that at all, but it's just going to be an invitation for us to have a conversation to see what we can choose and what is available here. And Channa, thank you so much for always being the generosity of spirit that you truly been every freaking call that I hop on. And I'm truly excited to see what we have in store this one.
Thank you, my dear Sam. Thank you so much for you. Thank you for the space you be and you bring into these calls. And I'm grateful to all of you for being here. Thank you, Red Heart, Sugandha, Rashi. Thank you. I love Red Hearts. And I love you all. Thank you, everyone. And see you all soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.